and I love that you were so interested in this role that from a long time ago, you started preparing and, method acting to be Lily 20, 30 years down the line.
Exactly. All of that stealing really paid off. I knew there was a reason for that.
The sacrifices you make for your art. I love it. Hi everyone, it's David Stark from Watch Our Past. Today I'm very excited to be joined by Elisabeth Shue, the star of The Good Half, which is coming to theaters on August 16th, 2024. I'm going to talk to her right now, and while you're watching, if you can like and subscribe to this channel, that would be fantastic. Also, a lot. Thank you. All right, so thanks so much for joining me today. I am very excited to be joined by the legendary Elisabeth Shue, star of The Good Half, which is coming to theaters on August 16th, 2024. It is a family drama comedy that deals with grief and family and where those two might intersect in Cleveland, Ohio. It is a beautiful film. It is a painful film at times, but your character provides a lot of the heart and joy in this movie and some of the sadness, but more heart and joy. So I'm very excited to talk to you, and thanks so much for joining me.
Oh, thank you for having me, and thanks for liking the movie so much.
Of course, of course. No, it was fantastic. First question, will you pinky promise that this will be a good interview?
Yes, I do. And I promise well, I can't steal anything from you. So
Hey, look, if just look around, let me know. I will
yeah, I'm
happily say
looking like, what can I steal? What can I steal in his room?
got some sunglasses.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I loved your character. I love the film. I'm just curious, how did you get involved in this? How did this story come across your desk?
Well, I was actually offered it, which is always rare and wonderful when you're offered something. Usually when they send you a script and it's an offer, you think you're just dreading reading it because you feel like, oh, it's probably gonna be terrible. Um, but I just couldn't believe how much the script moved me, how much I could relate to it. Obviously, I'm a mom. I've been a mom for a very long time. I have three children, and my oldest son is actually a writer. So I was just amazed that it had that part of the story that I could relate to, and it was just so well written and
Yeah,
funny and funny.
yeah, and funny in the right moments because it's definitely more of a drama, but it kind of has those moments of levity to lighten up what could be is a very serious film. So
Yeah. No, and I think the cast is pretty extraordinary. And I think it's kind of extraordinary that on such a small budget with so much limited time that we were all able to trust each other, be very open to each other. I really credit Nick being the star of the movie for being such a generous actor. And I feel like his openness really set a wonderful tone for everybody else. Robert Schwartzman is just a lovely human, and he was another layer of openness that he gave to all of us to be feel safe and able to go to the places everybody needed to go to. So that's really when you have a magical experience, basically, when the human beings there all want to be there desperately. They're not there for money, that is for sure. And they're there, they're there for the story and the experience, and they're excited because they get to have real relationships with each other and delve into like serious, complicated relationships, which is rare for us these days as actors.
yeah, no, for sure. And I read how Robert Schwartzman, like you said, he let the actors be open, kind of let them explore and kind of come to their own emotional space, which is fantastic. And you can tell, like the film does feel, vulnerable and genuine. And I also love Nick's character because he could have gone either way, right? You're kind of wondering why he's not doing certain things, and I think his performance lets you kind of like get a little bit into his head and see that this is all part of a larger grief process that he's going through.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's kind of guarded. I think because he is afraid of going through that kind of pain. And I really think that's so honest in how I've experienced other people going through grief. Some people rarely, but some people can sort of like face something as difficult as this in a very kind of like open way. But most people find ways to protect themselves. And everyone is in shock and everyone's numb and nobody knows what to do or how to process it. And so I think he captured that beautifully.
Yeah, for sure. I think you kind of have to go through that grief to really kind of allow yourself to be open the first time you want to be guarded, like you said.
Yeah.
I like how you said you related to your character. I'm curious, were there any parts of your personality that made it into Lily? Anything that you like were able to draw from your personal? I don't know where you acquire your dishware from, but maybe that's part of it.
Exactly. Well, I was a kind of a kleptomaniac when I was younger. So I definitely related to that. And I related to her immaturity for sure. I think if left to my own devices, I would have been more like her as a mother. Um, but of course, I was a little bit more responsible. And I hope to think that if something as devastating as having a disease like this happens to me, that I will be the kind of person who wants to embrace what's happening to me and talk to my kids and have everybody sort of, just in a very honest way, share it. But at the same time, I so relate to what it must be like to run away and not want anyone to see you go through any suffering and deny, deny, deny. So it's very honest.
Yeah, no, and I love that you were so interested in this role that from a long time ago you started preparing and method acting to be Lily 20, 30 years down the line.
All of that stealing really paid off. I knew there was a reason for that.
The sacrifices you make for your art, I love it. And I'm curious, you said, there's a limited time. How much time do you actually get to spend on set with these actors? Did you get to spend a little bit more time, or were you just basically there for your shots and then you had to go do other projects and other responsibilities?
Well, actually, what was so unique about the film too is that they went off to New Jersey and they filmed the entire movie, like for a month and a half or so. Then they came to LA and I started. So imagine that we didn't
Oh,
even know.
wow.
So here they are, sort of pretending to grieve for this person they've never even met, and and for me to have to come into a family that's already been established. Um, my first scene was at the table at the restaurant, so it was really daunting to be there and not know anyone. And what was so cool is that the first moment I sat down at the table, Brittany was there first, and the two of us were talking. And I didn't know her very well, but we were in the same movie, but we never did a scene together really. But I instantly started telling her how nervous I was and it's so hard. I can't believe I have to do this first scene where I have to cry and I don't know anyone. And I don't you hate this about acting? It's so tough. And she was just helping me so much, commiserating with me. And I couldn't talk to Nick really because he was kind of like, he was Nick Jonas. I didn't know him at all. Kind of perfect the dynamic where I was leaning on my daughter and I was putting my son on the pedestal over there. And yeah, and so life started like imitating art, and art and life was commingling. But everybody was so supportive of me in that moment, and um I just felt like we were family immediately.
No, I love that. That's really interesting how, yeah, you kind of like naturally took on the roles in the film, and that probably helped, to get you comfortable after they'd been together for a very long time. I'm not sure what it
Yeah.
says about New Jersey that they could, make Cleveland, Ohio be New Jersey, but we'll leave that for a later discussion.
Hey, I grew up in New Jersey.
Or Ohio, you can never tell, right? You don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I am curious. Did you get to, how long were you method acting for? Did you get to keep any of the stuff from the set? Where is that espresso cup set that
I'm
appeared?
so mad. I'm so mad that I didn't keep anything. The last journalist that I talked to, she said that she saw the film in Fort Lauderdale and she went to a restaurant that night and she stole something in Lily's honor. She showed me it. She stole this little dish. Yeah. Maybe she's going to start a trend and everybody across the world is going to start stealing little dishes and spoons.
If we had more time, I'd go up and show you the things I stole from a Disney cruise one time. The cute little
Oh,
paintbrush butter
really?
dish. Yeah, because it
Oh,
was so special. Yeah,
yeah. Really? So you did steal it?
yeah.
Oh,
No,
we
well, it's probably been
um
3 years. Yeah, yeah, we did. So
That's
I
fun.
know we have limited time. I'm going to switch to just some really lightweight questions about the film. I want to see how your personal experiences map to things in the film. Feel free to skip any of them. I won't be offended, but I try to keep them very answerable.
Okay.
First question. Your character did not want to be buried in Ohio. Do you know where you want to be buried?
Gosh.
Sorry, heavy.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I would like to just be sprinkled in the ocean. I don't know if I want to be buried. I don't know if I want to be cremated or not. That's a tough one. What about you?
I think I'd probably want to be sprinkled in the ocean, probably Outer Banks, cremated. That means you can still travel, right? You can still move
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah. I like that idea that you just become part of the air.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
Um,
disappointing. like really disappear,
Yeah,
gone.
exactly. And then you don't have like a sad memorial for your family to always have to go to. They can just kind of like think you're part of nature. So
Well, what is going to happen to that grave site over like millions of years?
yeah,
Gone anyway. So you
is
might as well.
and eventually the ocean will take over anyways as the globe warms. So
Yeah.
have you ever actually been to Cleveland?
I might have. I'm not sure. I don't think I have. I'm sorry.
I haven't been either, so we're even there. Do you
Yeah.
have some of this film was your children getting items from you to like remember you by. Do you have like a treasured item from a parent or something that's been passed down from your family?
Hmm. Hmm. Well, my dad passed away about 10 years ago, and I do have a little paperweight that he made for me. There's one Christmas where he didn't have any money, and so he made us all a present, and he made these little wooden paperweights he like engraved our names on this little like gold plated like sign on top of it, and I have that.
That's awesome. That's so special. I love it. I love that those handmade items when when I was a kid, I would get them like, oh, I don't want this. And now those are the
I
things I
know.
treasure. Those are the things I'm like, this was hand carved. I'm gonna keep it right over here.
I remember that Christmas. We were a little bummed.
But now you love it. Um, your character had a fascination with espresso sets. Do you drink espresso and do you have an espresso set?
I do not. I
Oh,
do not. I don't have little dishes either. I don't have little spoons or little dishes.
well,
So I
there's
might
all, everything starts one by one. Just start accumulating them. They
have.
keep extras, I hear. I hear they keep extras at restaurants. Uh, and the last question is, this movie involves, your character and their children. One of them is a favorite. Now, you don't mention which one if you don't want to, but do you have a favorite child?
I do not have a favorite child. I think I've done much better than Lily in this department. But I do know, and it's very true, that there is something about having daughters where maybe it's the sisterhood in general, but you do sometimes lean on your daughters for very like emotional situations where you really need that kind of support. And I do see how you could put your son a little bit up on the pedestal. And I just think it's just an interesting dynamic. I don't do it as much as she does, but I can really relate to that.
Yeah, no, I think that that's fair. I think that daughters generally are more like emotional and in tune, and then sons are, well, they're wild balls of crazy energy normally. I mean, Nick's character wasn't, but generally they're wild balls of crazy
Yeah.
energy. So
Some people have advised me that sometimes your sons they'll when they leave home, they really leave home where your daughters are always there. I don't know if that's necessarily true. And my son is very connected to us. He's not the typical kind of son who sort of like goes off and doesn't care about you at all. But yeah, it's interesting.
yeah, yeah, for sure. But you love
Yeah,
them all equally
I
in
do.
different ways.
Very much so. It's very true. I do.
Awesome. So the film is The Good Half. It's coming to theaters on August 16th, 2024. You are out promoting the film, getting the word out. But after people see you in The Good Half, and they go back and see all of your amazing movies from is 80s, 90s, 2000s, what can they look for next from you?
I have nothing. Nothing.
Wow.
I think this is a perfect movie to end it all on, though, don't you think?
I mean, yes, it is beautiful, it is emotional, and it has, your character passing
Yeah,
on. So,
exactly. So this might be it, people. This could be it. So
well,
go see
personal,
it because there may be no more.
I mean, personally, I hope that's not true, but if this is your last movie, it is a good one. So you can check out Elizabeth's performance in The Good Half coming to theaters on August 16th, 2024. It is a fantastic movie. This is the legendary Elizabeth Shue. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. I can't believe you called me legendary. That's very funny, but thank you.
Well, I mean, you are responsible for many of my favorite movies growing up. I love The Saint. I love Hollow Man. I love The Trigger Effect. It's
Trigger effect. That's obscure.
yeah, oh, that was one of my first movies where like, oh my God, like this could go wrong. Everything could go wrong. It was formative. So awesome. Well, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun.
All right, bye.
That was Elisabeth Shue, the star of The Good Half, which is coming to theaters on August 16, 2024. It is a beautiful, raw comedy drama about family and grief and where those two might collide in Cleveland, Ohio. If you like this interview, please like and subscribe to this channel. It helps me out a lot. Make sure all my new content goes straight to you. Thank you.